Evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to those that are connecting online from various places. And also this evening, apologies from Justin and Kirsten, and also Sonia and Anton. They'll be away for a few weeks, having a break on holidays. So let's settle into our evening with our meditation. Having established a comfortable sitting position, aligning our body with some degree of symmetry, balance, poise, helping to enable an inner mindful presence. Using this time now to set up the mind for the purpose of cultivating conscious awareness, calm clarity, attentive knowing. So letting go of the happenings of the day, the happenings of the week so far, moving the mind from roles and responsibilities, issues and concerns, all the issues and concerns that relate to self, allowing the mind to manifest its fundamental true nature as stillness, silence, spaciousness, which is experienced as peace, inner peace. And before bringing mindful awareness to the naturally occurring sensation of our breath, our reference point for the present, just feeling into the body with awareness, the mind in the body in the mind, sensing, feeling the body sitting. Sensations of the feet connecting with the floor, feeling the sensation of our body connecting with the chair, cushion, meditation stool. Sensation of hands and fingers resting in the lap. Maybe one hand against the other or against the fabric of our clothes. Just sensing, feeling, noticing. Relaxing the shoulders, the chest area, the abdomen, the belly area, the whole torso. Relaxed but stabilized, balanced. Mindfully noticing and feeling that subtle movement, the gentle rising, falling, shoulders, chest, abdomen, belly area. Maybe even the first time today that we've actually mindfully sensed and felt that soothing motion, the rising, the falling, the ebb and flow of the body breathing itself. And fundamental rhythm of life. And as we notice, sense, and feel that natural movement, it helps the mind to quieten down, becoming more inwardly calm and aware. Maybe also feeling the air connecting with our face, subtle light connecting with the eyes, a few background sounds. No need to engage into the activity of thinking, but just knowing, and especially noticing and knowing the in-breath, the out-breath, wherever we feel it the most, maybe the nose nostril area. Directing attention, sustaining attention to feel each soothing, therapeutic, life-giving breath. This wonderful gift to mind, body, and being of meditation. Even a gift to ourself of meditation, some calm, peace, and presence. One of the most wholesome and helpful things a human being can do, cultivating the quality of conscious awareness through meditation. Dana and Sila. This gift of peace, of morality, wholesomeness. This gift to our being also becoming a gift to others through mindful presence as we share our being with others. Allowing the mind to settle into this disposition of calm composure, samadhi, feeling each breath in each present moment. Here, now, knowing. Please help yourself to some tea and biscuits. Evening, Kylie. So how are we feeling tonight? Okay, good. Good enough? I was reminding myself that today being the last day of July, tomorrow the first day of August, which means the year is 2/3 over. 2/3 gone. Wow, already. Hurry up and meditate. So the fundamental practice in Buddhist practice, the mainstay of Buddhist practice, the pinnacle of Buddhist practice is meditation. Certainly, the Buddha spoke for and taught for 45 years following his enlightenment. And a lot of his emphasis was on the importance of meditation, encouraging, inspiring, motivating his disciples, monastics, monks, nuns, lay people to practice meditation, to cultivate the quality of their conscious awareness, to be able to then perceive things more clearly, moving the mind beyond confusion, illusion, delusion, to perceive reality, to liberate the mind from stress and suffering towards ultimate peace, enlightenment. And as part of fulfilling that possibility, he emphasized the importance of Sila, morality, Morality as a fundamental platform, mainstay for the cultivation of our minds. So morality, which also is one of the three practice elements: morality, meditation, wisdom, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, and very much the morality, the wholesome living, the living in a way that is worthy of being a human being, then helps to support the quality of our mind, so that we can then practice meditation and then see things more clearly, developing insightful wisdom. So certainly this quality of Sila, morality, ethics, being virtuous as a really important practice principle, but also, so one of the three, but also being the second of the 10 spiritual virtues, the second paramita. So last week we looked into and reflected upon dana, generosity, giving, liberality, sharing. And this week, the second one being Sila, morality, ethics, virtuous. We can even translate it as non-harming, even though the Buddhist word for non-harming is ahimsa. So non-harming, non-hurting others, which naturally comes when one's living in a wholesome, moral way. And there's spoken about two types of morality. There's natural morality and then also prescribed morality. I think that probably anyone that practices meditation for any length of time has a fundamental natural morality. They're naturally, generally a good person, living in a wholesome way. Because it's difficult to practice meditation if you're not living in a wholesome, ethical, moral way. Just sitting with oneself, the mind would otherwise then be filled with grief or guilt or shame or remorse, confusion, so that we have a natural morality that then allows us to both see the benefit and the worthwhileness of the practice of meditation. And then also in practicing the meditation, the mind's not overcome with regret, remorse, guilt, shame, fear, and so forth. And I think also the more we do practice meditation, it sort of just naturally inclines the mind to be more wholesome and moral and ethical. There's a sense of like just things that you wouldn't do because you said, well, no, that's going to upset my mind. That I couldn't live with that. I would feel guilty. I would feel sort of uneased. So both the morality supports meditation, meditation supports morality. Becomes sort of a natural balance and support for each other. But then also, as you're aware, in the Buddhist teachings, in Buddhism, as in other religious traditions, there is prescribed morality. So a set of guidelines, a set of rules, a set of commandments. In Buddhism, they're not so much commandments, but more like suggestions. Suggestions, guidelines for supporting the how we engage in terms of our body behavior and also our speech, that then affects the natural inclination of the mind to be supported as well. So physical and bodily and speech morality supports the mind. And in Buddhism, there's the prescribed morality, which is generally appreciated and practiced by most people, even when they're not Buddhists. A sense of like just wholesome living, which is the 5 moral precepts. So refraining from harming, killing living creatures as best one can. So and we can appreciate that's really helpful. Sure, certainly, sometimes one may need to send a creature to a better rebirth. Um, that does happen, especially living in a country environment where having to spray for ants or um, move cane toads to not just to the neighbors, but to maybe a different life. May you be reborn as a butterfly. Um, and that's the, I guess, the challenge, the karmic experience of living in certain environments where there's the stuff that one um, even morally needs to do to support other life as well, especially if you're living in these areas where we know that cane toads produce in a prolific way and also kill so many other creatures like the green frogs. But it's about intention. Certainly, in Buddhism, our precepts are very much about intention, the intention behind an act of doing something. That's where karma is created. So we're having a wholesome, um, kind intention. So refraining from harming or killing living creatures. Number two is refraining from taking that which hasn't been given. So if something hasn't been directly given to you and you know that it belongs to someone else, that they wouldn't like you to have it, I'm just permanently borrowing your something or other. It's like, well, that's not right. So refraining from taking that which hasn't been actually given to one, fundamentally stealing, which helps to also create a sense of relationship with people. People know that you're not going to take things from them, and um, so that someone might say, "Hey, would you like to borrow this or use this?" And they know that it's going to be returned. So that builds connection, relationship. And there's many ways in our mundane sort of basic life, worldly life, where one has to be mindful of that, taking that which hasn't been given. Remember many occasions where um, walking down the road or seeing a car down the road and someone's pulled up and they're taking mangoes off the mango trees. Like when we've always got when there are mangoes, there's plenty of mangoes. We don't mind sharing them, but when someone sort of pulls up and just starts picking mangoes, it's like, well, would you like to ask for a mango? Oh, but I've always taken them. Have you? Which is unfortunate because the person not considering, well, actually this could be my crop and I survive off selling my mangoes to market and so forth. And there you are, and I don't have to go without because you've taken part of my crop for the year. And so being mindful with that one. Um, the third prescribed precept, is refraining from the misuse of sexual activity. So not causing harm to others in a sexual way, which is really important in contemporary society because um, there's a growing awareness about the importance of how we engage our behavior bodies with others, and awareness of the trauma that that can cause others if it's done in an inappropriate, unwanted way. So the um, the right use of sexual engagement with others as opposed to the misuse, the abuse of others in that way. The fourth precept is about speech. So it's about refraining from the misuse of speech, fundamentally lying. It can include abusive speech, slanderous speech, gossip, even into idle chatter. So not wasting our time, other people's time, the quality of our mind through getting caught up in idle chatter, which could even these days be put into online as well. Just be careful how how we engaged online, sort of the chat rooms and so forth, that because stuff gets out there and can really affect other people. Then the fifth precept is refraining from the misuse of drugs and alcohol. So basically intoxicants that create confusion and disturb one's mindfulness. So five moral precepts which are seen to be helpful to support our well-being, and then also the well-being of others, because we don't live in isolation. Who we are, how we are, what we are does affect other people. So if we're observing some healthy moral precepts, and again, most of these precepts are things that one would be engaging upon anyway. It's just healthy, wholesome, moral way of behaving. And they certainly then support the mind for practicing meditation. In a way, it's a gift to others to be a moral, wholesome person. So yes, the first Paramita, dana, generosity, but it's also our gift to others to observe and behave in a moral, ethical, wholesome way. And beyond the five in Buddhism, there's also the 8 prescribed precepts. That's a little bit of a refinement of the five. So in the 8, the third one is actually, the fourth one is no sexual activity. So more of a celibate, chaste way of life. And then also there's extra ones that include not eating in the afternoon, not eating afternoon, keeping life a bit more simpler, just eating from dawn until noon, which is what Buddhist monastics observe. And there's also not sleeping on a high luxurious bed. So more of a like if you're on a retreat, you're on a low bed or on the floor. Given that high luxurious beds are conducive to not getting up early for meditation. Um, and then also there's precepts about not using jewelry, not sort of using jewelry, and also not using perfumes. So more of a quietening the senses down. So not using perfumes, and also that one also includes not engaging in entertainments, singing, dancing, listening to music, which can be difficult if you like music. When I was a Buddhist monk and ordained as a Buddhist monk at 17, but I'd studied music for 6 years of high school. I focused on music, won the music award for my school for the HSC. I performed for the HSC music, loved music, and then decided to be a Buddhist monk. So that goes into the next paramita renunciation, giving things up. But and that was okay, because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on being a Buddhist monk, and but I could get into chanting. So I really enjoyed chanting, because I also did when I was a school student, I did singing at school as well. So I was able to get in the Buddhist chanting. Wasn't particularly melodious, but still sort of an expression of tone and a degree of tune with the other monastics. But obviously, these 8 precepts, they're ones that are more conducive for meditation retreats. Even if you go on a meditation retreat, you're likely to be observing these eight precepts. The actual 10 precepts are for novice monastics. That includes then not using money, and Um, and one of them that was the perfumes and jewelry, and then singing, dancing. That's broken into two to make up the 10. So again, a bit more of a restrained life. But then, if you want to get more serious about living with simplicity and living in a very wholesome way, beyond the 5 or the 8 or the 10, then there's 227 prescribed precepts for Buddhist monks and 311 for Buddhist nuns. Women always get more. Women are allowed more. More shoes, more bags, more clothes.
More precepts.
More precepts. And they mainly relate to extra garments and robes and things that nuns might have. But fundamentally, even those 227 or 311 precepts basically come down to 8 precepts. So that and the 8 precepts are basically encompassed in the 5 precepts for general well-being, living in a wholesome way, looking after our mind and body, and our engagements with other people. But certainly, I think it's really important to remember, and to emphasize the importance of morality, because whilst often nothing much is particularly said about it, generally people are living in a wholesome way. But it's good to remind ourselves, because it's fundamental, morality, ethics, fundamental to cultivating our mind. And a lot of stress happens when we lose what's appropriate, or that sense of morality or ethics. Um, Again, if we are a moral person, then we feel guilty, we feel ashamed. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have taken that. Whatever. And so it does affect us. And so really important to protect, preserve our mind through that morality, and also a sense of feeling good about living and leading a moral life, being an example to others, because much of the world is motivated in the opposite way, in terms of like take advantage, get more, have more, and um, in a way that is about trying to fulfill desire. Sort of a lot of morality, or the lack of morality, is about trying to fulfill one's desires and then taking advantage of other people or a situation. And ultimately, we can appreciate that if you want to be happy, really happy, then it's not about having more of whatever, things that another, more cake or more sugar, or buy something bigger, faster, whatever. It's about feeling good in yourself from living in a wholesome way, developing the mind through meditation, developing a wisdom perspective on things, seeing things more clearly. That's what leads to happiness. So not the breaking of precepts. And it's wisdom, I've said many times before, it's wisdom that sees the importance of letting go of a lesser happiness to appreciate and find and experience a higher happiness, happiness of ease, contentment, well-being, meditation, joy, feeling good around others, feeling comfortable in being with others, as opposed to feeling sort of unease because one's hasn't done the right thing. So reflections on the importance of morality. Any questions or comments yourself about this, Brendan?
Yeah, John. I have an aspiration to follow the 8 precepts, like to try to do that like once a week.
Mm.
It's not quite there yet, but working my way up to it. But I was wondering, with the precept around entertainment. So obviously, like TV and shows, that's a big one. And then when it comes to reading, like, is there a difference? So if you're reading, but it's more educational versus, I'm reading a fictional
Yeah,
novel
yeah.
just for, it's basically watching TV with your
Mm.
mind. So would you differentiate that? So if I was reading a book about Buddhism or something educational, wholesome, that's okay? Or is that still entertainment? Are you entertaining yourself by reading?
Sure, it's a
Mm.
subtlety there, but and it's I guess it comes down to your intention and looking at your own sort of mind state.
Am I distracting myself, or am I using this to perhaps help develop wisdom
Yeah.
through meditation?
So it might be that I'm not reading this book for the sake of entertainment, but I'm reading it, I'm learning something, and it is actually entertaining because it's been written well.
Yeah.
So that's certainly okay.
Yeah.
It's even a bit like um, at times when I was a Buddhist monk in Thailand, in a forest, in a jungle, but the monastery, the forest jungle was surrounded by paddy fields, rice fields, and then beyond that there was various villages. And on occasions, the villages would have music nights, and they'd set up these huge big speakers. Often it'd be like a team of singers and performers. They'd sort of come in trucks and sort of come to the village and set up and perform. They'd also put on music tapes as well, and it'd go pretty much all night, and you couldn't not hear it, especially because the northeast of Thailand's pretty much flat. It's a high sort of flat plateau area, and the wind comes through as well, especially in the cold season. And so you'd be sitting in your monastery, sitting in your hut, meditating and hearing ELO, Last Train to London, in English.
Just need to get into the jhanas, John, and then you block it out.
So it's about, okay, I can hear it. And ELO was one of my favorite bands back in the 70s, Electric Light Orchestra, but I'm trying not to enjoy it.
Just have sympathetic joy for the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that are
exactly.
hungry,
Yeah.
that they're happy.
Yeah, I hope they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you can't sort of like block off things that are sensory and even sensual, and that even the senses sort of have a sense of like, oh, I like that. But it's about just not attaching to it.
I guess it comes back to the awareness of the intent, right? That's the key
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I remember having a Buddhist monk at actually when I was in Sydney, and he was staying with us, and um, doing a meditation and having a day retreat. People had bought food and things, and someone had bought a box of chocolates, and so um, he had a few chocolates in his bowl and put a chocolate in, and then suddenly it was sort of coming out of his mouth, and he's sort of getting some tissue, and I asked him, "What's wrong?" He said, "Oh, it's got liqueur, it's got alcohol in it." And so which again, Buddhist monks don't have alcohol. Um, but that's sort of, he's being strict. He could have just gone, I'm not going to get drunk on this. It's only one chocolate. It's probably even alcoholic essence, not real alcohol anyway. And but he was sort of, okay, oh, I've just got to get rid of it. So it's about ideally one's intention with regards to observing precepts, and sometimes it's really important to be quite strict because there might be desire to, if you're not being strict, then the desire will sort of get out of hand, or even just being strict because it may sort of, other people are watching, and so therefore you want to sort of set a good example. But sometimes, even in observing precepts, one has to be sort of mindful of what's right and appropriate according to the situation as well. You don't want to sort of cause stress and upset to other people. When I was a young monk, after a number of years, I visited, I think I'd been in Thailand about 5 years and then came back to visit my family. And so I would, uh, as a young monk, I wanted everything done properly. I'm the monk, I've got robes on, and getting my parents, my mother, to offer the food correctly. And so that for Buddhist monks, Theravada Buddhist monks, everything has to be offered. If someone puts some food down in front of you and it's not offered into your hand, then you can't have it. So it hasn't been accepted into your hand. And so getting my mother and sometimes my brother to lift up pots and things to give it to me into my hand as well. So, and I felt I had to do it correctly. So I felt okay. I wasn't breaking any precepts, even though it's not really, it's more Thai forest sort of custom to do it that particular way. And also I felt I was helping them learn a tradition as well. But I think um, a lot of people would sort of say, "Oh, well, the food's there, eat it. Just help yourself." And some monks would. They go, "Okay, sure, yeah, it's given to me in spirit. I don't have to receive it directly to my hand to know that it's mine." I think the five precepts are fundamental to just good, good, wholesome, ethical behavior. And they're probably the precepts that we observe most of the time anyway. And they're conducive to feeling at ease within oneself and also in our connections with other people. Any other questions or comments?
I guess I have a question about sort of my practice of late. Perhaps the last sort of 2 weeks, my meditation has been just trying to keep it consistent as much as possible. And lately it's like been a bit dull on the dull side, like in the mornings trying to sort of get up early and meditate. And I get to a point mentally where I have like an urge to sort of break out of it, and then sometimes do sort of like I feel like there's a time period, a ticking clock, and I try and set myself sort of like around 30 minutes to sit like this section. And I'm not sure whether or not the urge to fight it is a positive thing or a negative thing, or if I should just sort of, if I'm starting to feel that, to just sort of break out and just be like, not make a negative connotation with the practice.
Yeah, so you could do either one is to go, no, I've made a determination to sit for 30 minutes and I'll sit, and even if some unease, whether it's dullness or distraction comes up, I just sit with that, just be with that, just breathe with that, and make peace with that until the 30 minutes is up. Or you go, okay, well, just be gentle with myself, and mind sort of is unsettled, so maybe it's time to finish, and it's okay, let go, finish. So it depends upon your intention, especially at the beginning of the meditation. But it can be good to have got myself a little timer like this. It's from the knick-knack shop down in Murwillumbah, and so I've set it for 30 minutes, and so it'll just go down. So just let go, needing to look at the clock, and the alarm will go off after 30 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever I set it at, and then that can be another sort of good way just sit there until the alarm goes off.
Okay.
Because it can be good to, in many ways, we're also developing some of these qualities by having that commitment to just to stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
I definitely draw on Kanti from Kind
Yes,
of
patience, and then also resolve, adhitthana. That can be good as well. And also sitting for a certain amount of time can also be helpful then on retreat situations where, okay, we're sitting, and whilst if people need to, they can get up and go and stretch or whatever. But ideally, it's good to be able to, okay, we're going to sit for 30 minutes, so we sit. Because often the hindrances, the 5 mental hindrances, will come up and cause distraction, whether it's mental dullness or restlessness, agitation, or whether it's sense desires, or whether it's doubt, just causing that sense of unease and the mind wanting to sort of get out of the meditation.
It's definitely a lot different coming to these Thursday sessions. I had to work last Thursday, so I was elsewhere, but it does bolster the whole experience.
Yeah. And the peer group pressure of just sit there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Well, keep up the good work, and certainly on our Vasa retreat period and program. And so next week we can reflect upon renunciation. So that's the third quality, nekkhamma, renunciation. And then the next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday we have another half-day session for those of you that can come along. So and then we'll look into another three qualities with that. We'll be looking into the wisdom, energy, and patience. So have a great week. Enjoy the cool weather. Bit of rain over the week probably coming, and see you next time. Thanks.